From Storm Tracker 6, this is Forecast First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
The ingredients set for a little wintry weather out there this evening and during the overnight hours. We're plenty cold, 24 in Lansing, 26 degrees in Jackson. Even got a few snowflakes. Not going to cause any problems this evening. We're really not worried about snow. It's the freezing rain we have to keep an eye on. Winter weather advisory is in effect for basically all of mid-Michigan, excluding Montcalm and Gratiot counties, until Thursday morning at 9 a.m. And again, the biggest concern will be the potential for some freezing rain. Future radar over the next 6 hours. There comes the mixed precipitation riding north. So we're talking probably midnight or a little bit after before things go downhill. Now, this is not going to be a major winter storm. We'll look at the ice accumulations coming up. Temperature-wise for tonight, we'll hold the mid-20s with that wintry mix through the early morning hours. Then maybe a stronger storm system is on tap as we head into the weekend. 6 News at 5 starts right now.
WLNS is here for you with 6 News at 5.
Tensions are starting to boil over in Washington. It is our top story today at 5. Thank you for joining us. I'm Sherry Jones. Well, this comes as President Donald Trump, with the help of tech billionaire Elon Musk, continue a blitz of layoffs, buyouts, and DEI crackdowns. Washington Bureau correspondent Raquel Martin was at today's rally supporting USAID workers, and she's here for you with the very latest.
We need to end this illegal power grab.
Democrats say they're preparing to go to battle in court and in Congress to put a stop to President Donald Trump and Elon Musk's takedown of federal agencies.
It's not about left or right, it's about right and wrong.
Hundreds rallied outside the Capitol to protest a sudden freeze at USAID. The federal agency supplies medical aid, food, and more to developing countries across the globe.
These are human lives.
People here say they're not just frustrated by the Trump administration's actions, they're angry. But Republicans insist the president has not violated the law.
We don't see this as a threat to Article 1 at all. We see this as an active, engaged, committed executive branch authority.
While in Guatemala, Secretary of State Marco Rubio told reporters the Trump administration is simply making tweaks to ensure programs like USAID are in line with U.S. national interests.
And those that do not will not continue.
The White House insists Musk's targeting of federal agencies is about cutting waste and does not signal any conflicts of interest. Musk currently has billions of dollars in federal contracts.
And he has, again, abided by all applicable laws.
The CIA is the latest agency to receive buyout offers from the Trump administration.
As a former CIA officer, I'm getting a lot of outreach.
Michigan Democratic Senator Alyssa Slotkin says she supports cutting waste, but not at the expense of national security.
I can't support that kind of hacksaw approach.
In Washington, Raquel Martin.
This was the scene at noon today at the state capitol, one of many protests across the country. The 50-51 movement, which stands for 50 states, 50 protests, one day, is a nationwide protest against the president's policies and executive orders. Taryn Simmons will have a full report from today's event tonight on 6 News at 6. In the meantime, a federal judge in Maryland has ordered a second nationwide pause on President Trump's executive order seeking to end birthright citizenship for anyone born in the U.S. to someone in the country illegally. Mr. Trump's inauguration week order was already on temporary hold nationally because of a separate suit brought by a pack of 4 states. In total, 22 states, including Michigan, as well as other organizations, have sued to try to stop this executive action. Well, the Michigan governor has released her new $80 billion plus state budget, including a new spending record for every public school student in the state. But as Capitol correspondent Tim Skupik reports, that boost might be reduced due to what Democrats are calling the chaos over proposed federal budget cuts under the new Trump administration.
The good news for educators and parents, the governor wants to increase state aid to every school kid by $392 per pupil, for a grand total of $10,000 per pupil. The bad news for Democrats, however, is President Trump has total control over 42% of the federal dollars that flow into Michigan's coffers. And the Democrats might argue, therefore, the per pupil increase is not a gimme.
We're made painfully aware of what disruptions to federal funding look like over the past week with the federal freeze.
The state education budget, including free meals for school kids, is predicated on $2.3 billion from the feds. This Senate Democrat asked the budget director, therefore,
what would we do to make up that $2.3 billion in cuts? We're talking special education funding, school meals for all, Title I school funding for our most at-risk students, as well as protections in Title IX, which has been something that enforcement of protecting women in sports.
The news and potential cuts in orders have caused a lot of chaos in state government. You know, we're working with the cabinet and our legal counsel to understand what proposed cuts could mean. We don't have a crystal ball.
The state does have over $2 billion in its rainy day fund. However, the deputy state budget director rules out using that.
The notion of us being able to backstop, whether it's education or some of the other, proposed cuts from the federal level, is not really an option. Some difficult decisions would have to be made on what programs and services would need to be impacted.
And what he's really saying is that current state programs would have to be cut if the federal cuts materialize. Meanwhile, the Republican chair of the House Budget Committee checks in on all these Democratic budget fears, dismisses them this way.
It's putting noise in the room that's unnecessary, all right? The president hasn't come out. We haven't gotten any notice that any of our funding is going to be cut. I don't think that the president or the federal government wants to cut people off at their knees. I mean, they have the same concerns that we do here at the state level. We want to make sure that our taxpayers are getting good value for their tax dollars.
So these state lawmakers go to work on a proposed $80 billion state budget that may have more money for school kids. But the Democrats are likely to warn school districts, don't spend it yet. Well, the Republican chairwoman says this.
Honestly, I think it was unnecessary hot air.
Your view in Lansing, Tim Skubic, 6 News.
Thank you, Tim. And we've been getting a lot of reaction to the governor's proposed budget. You can see it on our website, WLNS.com. And as we told you yesterday, Genesee County Sheriff Chris Swanson will hold an event tomorrow at 5:30 in the afternoon where he will make an announcement. It's expected that he will officially announce a run for Michigan governor. We'll let you know what happens. Well, we're getting ready to celebrate our 75th anniversary this year, and we'd like your help. So if you hung out with Alley Cat, cut a rug on Swing Lively, or know someone who met Martha Dixon, well, please let us know. And if you have any pictures or videos from back in the day, we've actually set up a folder for you to upload your memories, and we'd love to use them on air. To share them, just head to WLNS.com/75. And if you're willing to talk to us about it on TV, let us know in the comments sections, and then we'll try to get a hold of you. We'll be kicking off all the celebrations around our birthday in May.
From Storm Tracker 6, this is Weather First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
Well, let me get this out right away. This is not a major winter storm coming tonight or tomorrow morning, but with the prospects for just a little bit of freezing rain, if there is any, that could create some issues. Here's a look at precision cast ice. We'll take this through the overnight hours and notice from Mason to Charlotte, really almost to Jackson, but certainly north to Lansing and St. John's, trace amounts, if any, freezing rain at all. And if we don't see any freezing rain, it's just a nuisance snow shower event for us. But along 94 and southward, a trace to maybe as much as 1/10 of an inch of freezing rain. So that could create some tough travel. But as I said, all it takes is a little freezing rain. So we have to keep our guard up here in central mid-Michigan as well. Now, areas that see snowfall, again, it's minor, a trace to an inch. There could be a little swath where somebody gets a little bit over an inch. It may not be right over Mason. It may be north towards Lansing or in southern Ingham County, but somewhere in the viewing area, I think there'll be a little enhancement and somebody probably gets a little bit over an inch of snowfall. Not a major snow either, but coming during the morning commute could make things a little slippery. We've got a few snow showers out there this afternoon on the radar, but it's not causing any problems, and a lot of it's not even reaching the ground so far. So we look at precision cast then. Tonight, there's the snowfall, and notice how far the pink area is. It's over Jackson County, so perhaps north of Jackson, including Lansing and St. John's, it might be just snowfall here and light snow at that. Either way, it is out of here by tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. We'll say use a little caution in case there's still some slick spots, but I don't anticipate widespread problems tomorrow morning. As we move through the afternoon hours, cold front will begin to sweep through, and what you will notice tomorrow is a lot of wind around the area, especially by by 4, 5, 6 o'clock. Cold front will clear and head to the east as we move into the weekend, or Friday morning. I guess that's the weekend, Friday morning into Friday afternoon. Some weekends start then. High pressure is in control for Friday, but by Saturday, this area of low pressure to the southwest, it'll be a quick hitting system on Saturday, but it'll have a little more moisture, a little more intensity. So we could be looking at a few inches of snowfall accumulation Saturday afternoon into early Sunday. The odds you see at least 2 inches of snow, extremely low tonight and tomorrow, but a 60% chance or better on Saturday into Sunday. You kind of combine those two, and I think the odds are really pretty high that we're going to see at least 2 inches of snow. Worst case, looking this far out, 4 or 5 inches seems possible, maybe as much as 6, especially in northern sections of mid-Michigan. Temperatures currently sitting in the mid-20s. It's cold outside, but as you see on the Skyview network, not a whole lot happening from the sky. 26 the current temperature on the McLaren cam. That is our high for the day. In Grand Ledge, still some breaks in those clouds. Might be a pretty sunset. Temperature 24 degrees after a high today of 25. Jackson cam, mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures at 26. 16 was the low, with a wind gust up to 22 miles per hour, and all quiet so far in Hillsdale with the current temperature sitting at 26 degrees. Tonight's forecast, then a wintry mix possible, some slippery travel, overnight low down to 24 degrees. Tomorrow morning, watch out for a slick spot or two in the morning, but we're above freezing late morning hours, so things will rapidly improve. It'll just get quite windy tomorrow. Weather aware day because of the potential for a little ice out there early. Weekend storm Saturday, got to keep an eye on that for some decent accumulation. Beyond that, it just looks cold, highs in the 20s through most of next week. Some snow showers Wednesday or Thursday. And then again, maybe next Saturday, a bit of a wintry mix, but I've still got Valentine's Day dry.
Very good. And you know the salt trucks, they're really going to be out tomorrow working overtime.
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking freezing rain, it doesn't take much, so I'm sure they'll be out. And treated roads should be just fine.
All right, give yourself some extra time.
Yes.
Thanks, David.